All right, guys. So I want to talk about something that I find to be extremely, extremely, extremely disturbing. Okay. And basically embarrassing, undisputable proof that Joe Biden is, in fact, a controlled asset. That this guy is simply not running this country. And this should scare the hell out of American citizens, because it's basically almost like the guy that, allegedly most of America voted for, okay, to be president, is not actually running the show. In fact, it seems like he's not there at all, and we have undisputable evidence that this guy is not running the show. Again, this is embarrassing. I am embarrassed as an American to be reporting on this story, but I have to talk about it because this should be front page news, man. The image that we saw of Joe Biden, the image that proves that Joe Biden is in fact a control asset, because people should be asking, who is running this country, right? Who is actually president of the United States? Okay, that is a legitimate question that needs to be asked, okay? Because the guy that was elected to office, he's clearly not running the show. Now, before I get to this image that you guys have probably already seen, I want to rewind, because we've had possible hints that Joe Biden is a control asset leading up to the embarrassing image that came out today, in which, Joe Biden routinely uses note cards, right? Now, this image right here is from Joe Biden's presidency back during March of 2021, right? So he was in office maybe 2 months or so, okay? And this one was from a press conference, one of the first press conferences he did. It might have been the first press conference he did, in which he was talking about the filibuster and some other stuff that, Democrats were talking about at the time, I believe. And he has a note card here of all the names and faces and the people that he's supposed to call on in the media for questions. Now, at the time, a lot of people criticized Joe Biden for this, mainly because Trump, he would just call on anybody, right? Trump was like, I'm just going to take questions from anybody. I don't care if they're adversarial or whatever. Just shoot the questions, right? I'll answer them off the cuff to the best of my ability. That's one thing I respected about Trump, right? He was not a controlled asset. He just did his thing. Whether the answer was good or bad, whether he was prepared for it or not, the man tried, right? He didn't run away from the media. However, Joe Biden, again, who is a controlled asset, clearly is running away from the adversarial media, which is not a lot of media. It's a very small minority of the media that is actually adversarial to Joe Biden, which is a shame, right? That's the real threat on democracy. But this guy, again, had a list of names and faces of media members that he should call on. Okay, I get it, right? I can kind of reconcile why he would have that, right? You want to know people's names, you want to know their faces when you call on them. I can kind of understand that, okay? I'm not going to judge him too bad for that, right? He also was seen later on with note cards in which, he had some facts and statistics about his infrastructure plan, which, again, this is one of those things where I'm like, okay, I can understand that. I can get it, right? Like, you're president of the United States. You're getting a ton of information on a daily basis. I mean, Joe Biden is 80 years old. I mean, the guy is old. It's hard to remember a bunch of facts and statistics off the top of your head, especially when you're getting all types of information all day long. I get it. These things are understandable. Again, low-key, again, still kind of embarrassing, but understandable. I get it. You have notes. You reference those notes when people ask you questions. Nobody's going to make a real big deal out of that, okay? However, there's a difference between those two things that we just saw and what we saw yesterday from Joe Biden. This right here, guys, should scare every American, okay? And this right here basically makes Joe Biden unelectable, right? He cannot run for president again in 2024. It's not possible, because this note card right here that Joe Biden was referencing tells you, it is undisputable proof this guy is a controlled asset, as they literally have to tell this man everything. I'm talking about everything, including when to take your seat, when to enter a room, when to ask questions. Let's read this, guys. Let's read this, right? It says, offshore wind drop by sequence of events. Okay, that's the title. The first bullet, you enter the Roosevelt room and say hello to participants. Wow. This man has to be told to enter the room and to say hello. He has to be told that. Like a child, right? You know how you tell a child, like, hey, it's disrespectful for you to enter a room and not say hey, right? You should say hey and greet everybody in the room when you enter a room. Joe Biden's being told that. He's a 70, 80-some-year-old man. He's been talked to like a child. You take your seat. Wow. He has to be told to take his seat. Again, like a kindergartner. Again, this literally reminds me of kindergarten. This is what they used to tell 5-year-olds. Press enters. You give brief comments, okay? I'm assuming it tells you how long he should talk about his comments. Press the parts. You ask Louis Schuler, President AFL, a question. Liz is joining virtually. You thank participants. You depart. Wow. Absolutely incredible. Incredible. I mean, this is unbelievable. I mean, you can easily Photoshop this, right, to make it a lot more funny, but there's no need to. Because if this wasn't the President of the United States, this would be hilarious. But because it is the President of the United States, it is actually just sad and scary. Again, you should be terrified as an American to see that the President of the United States has to be told to greet people when he enters a room. He has to be told to take his seat. He has to be told when to ask questions. He has to be told everything. Okay? Everything that he does, he has to be told what to do. He's a controlled asset. Who's running the country? Every mainstream media outlet should be demanding who is running the country, because it is clear this guy is not running the country. This guy is not calling the shots, right? He is not. What is going on? Who the hell is running this? And whoever's running it, they're running the country into the ground. Okay? I got questions. But, you know, the Democrats, they can't run Joe Biden in 2020. There's no way. This dude cannot go on a campaign trail while at the same time running the country. He can't do both, bro. There's a reason why they put this man in the basement doing his 2020 campaign season. There's a reason why they didn't let this man out in public. This is the reason why. And it's only going to get worse as he gets older. They can't run this dude. They have to have a primary. There's no way. There's no way with his approval ratings being in the dump. This dude is the most unpopular president in American history. That's not even an exaggeration. Like, that is just fact. Kamala Harris is the most unpopular vice president in American history. That's not an exaggeration. That is just fact. We have an inflation crisis, a border crisis, a crime crisis, a foreign policy crisis. We have crisis all across this country. There is nothing good going on in this country right now. And you're going to run a guy. You're going to run a guy that has to be told when to take his seat. He has to be told when to ask questions. He has to be told when to enter a room. And the worst part about it, guys, is that if this guy kicks the bucket, right? If something happens to Joe Biden, I don't have faith in his successors, right? Not the immediate successor and not the successor after that. Because Kamala, every time she talks, she speaks, she sounds like she's high, right? She can't form a coherent sentence. She can't have any type of conversation of substance. She ain't making no sense. Something's wrong with her head, okay? She's not in the right state of mind. And then the person after her, Nancy Pelosi, she's drunk, right? She's not in the right state of mind. She's too old. Again, that is the state that we're currently in, guys, where the president of the United States clearly is not, fit, mentally capable of being in office, not mentally or physically. The vice president is not mentally capable of being in office. And the Speaker of the House is not mentally capable of being in office, right? So again, we have no hope. We have no hope whatsoever. This is sad. This is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed as an American right now to have this man in office, to march him out there on the world stage with other world leaders who are clearly more competent, more cognizant of their surroundings and what is going on in reality than this guy. And we have nobody that can replace him. If something happens to him, we're going to have the same exact problem. The problem might get worse. It might get worse with Kamala. Could be worse. Yeah, guys, this is a very, very, very sad and terrifying day to be an American when, again, the president of the United States has to be told what to do like a child because he's a controlled asset. We have to demand to know who's running this country. We need to know. It is unacceptable. This is crazy. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.